This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole.
All right, let's talk about something that sounds like it's, straight out of a true crime documentary. But unfortunately, this one is completely real. We're going to Wisconsin, where Stacey is. The quiet little village. Is it Caledonia?
Yes.
Caledonia, Wisconsin.
Caledonia.
Where is Caledonia on the state of Wisconsin?
You were gonna ask me that.
So if here's the state of Wisconsin, or more like this. Where is it?
All right, let me look it up.
I know Michigan does the mitten too, but so does Wisconsin.
Let's see where Caledonia is.
Actually, here's Wisconsin.
It's in Scotland. Hang on. Let me
which hand? I don't know which hand I should be looking at. There's a slight delay. Okay.
Racine County. So it's
Milwaukee.
on the eastern side of the state.
Okay, so it's near Milwaukee.
Yep.
In the quiet little village of Caledonia, Wisconsin, where the biggest drama is usually, a neighbor's unruly lawn, or Jim Bob, Did you see the fish are biting down there at Stinky Point? You got to go. They got the perch. Smokey the other day. He got a perch this big. Yeah. And his daughter likes sushi. She just chopped it up and just started eating it raw right there in the boat. Once that was the damnedest thing. Anyway, a horrific crime took place, and the community's a little shaken up by it. On March 4th of 25, 15-year-old Reed Gelinskey allegedly murdered his mother, Suzanne Gelinskey, in their home. And that's not disturbing enough for you? Well, he got the idea reportedly from the Netflix documentary about the Menendez Brothers. Yep, the same infamous case where two rich kids decided their parents were expendable.
Ugh.
You thought, good idea. Okay. So here's how it went down. That night after coming home from school, Reed was apparently feeling a heavy mix of desperation for something far darker. For about a month, he'd been taking his brother's anxiety meds. Like you do. Just take somebody else's meds. That's a great idea. Because what's better than self-medicating with someone else's prescription?
Yikes.
That night, he popped around 9 pills instead of, say, playing video games or texting his friends. He and his mom then sat down to watch the Menendez Brother documentary on Netflix. And when the so-called shotgun scene played out, something clicked in his head, except it wasn't the normal, hey, that's an interesting documentary, or, hey, that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. It was more of a, I should do that sort of feeling. After the show ended, Suzanne headed upstairs, probably thinking nothing of it, other than you watch the Menendez brother doc thing. Meanwhile, Reed was gearing up for something a little more sinister. He stashed a steak knife in his pocket, tucked a dumbbell bar up his sweatshirt sleeve. How do you do that? How do you tuck it?
Must have been like a 2-pound or a 3-pound. There's no way he took like a 10 or a 12-pounder.
Yeah.
You can't stuff that in your shirt.
Yeah.
You could, but it's going to be so obvious.
So he's got the dumbbell in his sleeve, and he's got the steak knife in his pocket, which does seem like a dumb place for a steak knife, too. It feels like you could stab your leg pretty easily in that sort of a situation. But hey, he doesn't seem like the brightest bulb. And he calls his mom back downstairs. Mom, come on back. Can you make some of those chocolate chip cookies? He did it under the pretense of needing help finding his medication. And as she was searching, he allegedly struck her in the head twice with the dumbbell, but she didn't go down like in the movies. Instead, she fought. So Reed threw her to the ground and started stabbing her. What had to be one of the most gut-wrenching moments, Suzanne in her final breaths asked her son, why? His answer? Single word. Pain.
Yeah.
That wasn't twisted enough. Reed then hopped on Snapchat, but instead of sending streaks pic or some dumb meme, he sent crime scene photos to a friend who thankfully had enough sense to immediately call the cops. When the officers rolled up to the Gelinskey house around 10:30 p.m., they found Reed walking out, covered in blood, making no effort to run. Instead, he reportedly kept repeating, "She's dead from what I did." He even asked the cops to kill him. Inside the house, the scene was horrifying, as you'd expect. Suzanne lay unresponsive in a pool of blood, 2 knives, one on the floor, another near the sink, and the silver adjustable dumbbell bar casually lay by the fridge, like a forgotten piece of workout equipment. Turns out Reed wasn't planning to stop with his mom. He allegedly had every intention of killing his dad, too, but couldn't find the right weapon. You know, don't you hate that when that happens? You just can't find quite the right one. That's a sentence no parent should ever have to read about their kid. Now, on the legal side of things, Reed is being charged as an adult with first-degree intentional homicide. Bail? Cool, $1 million. He's sitting in the juvenile detention center for now with supervised contact allowed only with his father. His next court date is set for March 12th. Let's take a look at a clip here from local news out of Milwaukee. Where's my mouse? I can see it in the background over there. It's over here. There we go.
You have so many screens, it doesn't know where to go.
There's literally 5. But I made a big mouse so I can see it better. Let's take a look at this. This is from WISN TV in Milwaukee.
Reed Gelinskey appearing on video in court Friday, wearing an anti-suicide smock for the second day in a row.
The victim's family member is also present via Zoom.
Family tells 12 News Ryan Gelinskey, seen in this Zoom box, is Reed's adopted father. He appeared at his son's Friday hearing, days after prosecutors say the 15-year-old stabbed and killed his mother, Suzanne. According to the criminal complaint, the teen planned to kill both of his parents.
His original plan was not just for the one victim, but for 2.
According to investigators, the teen said he took approximately 9 pills of his brother's anxiety medication, and a plan to kill his parents came to him while watching the shotgun scene of the Menendez Brothers on Netflix.
This was an extremely violent but planned offense.
Police say after the stabbing, Gelinskey sent Snapchat images of his mother to a friend who called police.
Said that her friend had killed his mother at 2227, and he sent her a picture with blood on the floor and said that he stabbed her.
Prosecutors say Gelinskey told investigators he planned to kill his father too, but couldn't find a hammer big enough.
My understanding is his father does wish to have some form of contact with him.
Wow.
I don't think I would. I think I'd be like, I'm out. Good luck.
Yeah, you know, it's not enough that you went after Mom, but you were thinking of killing me and just couldn't find a good enough hammer for it.
Some people are just broken beyond repair, and that's one of them. He's only 15. Yeah, he is. And some people are just broken beyond repair, even when they're 15. And he is one of them.
I see this. I mean, he asked the police to kill him. He was obviously in a state. He was taking his brother's anti-anxiety. Is this a kid who was begging for help and didn't get it?
Why was he taking his brother's meds? And why is mom helping him find the meds? So that right there, unless I'm missing something, is telling me that mom is okay with self-medicating her son with the brother's meds, which you should never be doing.
Yeah. Again, though, is that they can only afford meds for one kid.
These meds are not expensive. You go get the Good RX card, they're fucking cheap. I mean, even if you don't have insurance, there are ways of getting these meds. They've been around for a very long time, depending on what you're taking. And there are ways of getting these, even if you have no money. So I'm not going to go with that argument of it's too expensive. That's just bullshit. If you can't, looking at their house, they can afford a $10 to $15 med.
No, I agree. I mean, people need to set their priorities. If this kid needed help, there are places you can get it.
Sounds like they had
if the brother is on meds, clearly they've tapped into those resources. And I don't want to blame the victim, the mom here, but were there signs that were missed that this kid needed help, or did this just happen out of the blue?
Why are you giving him anti-anxiety prescription meds and he's not prescribed them? Why are you giving him the Brothers? Because and again, this shit is not stuff you take like Skittles. We're like one day, I want to taste the rainbow today. And then the next day you're like, I'm going to go for Starburst. No, you have to consistently take this shit.
Right. It's not something you just take when you feel, I'm having a rough day, I'm going to take an anti-anxiety pill.
There are types for like panic attacks. There is things that you can take for that. That does exist. But if you shouldn't ever be taking 9 of them. And again, it's not a great idea to take someone else's meds ever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I question what the hell was going on there. Maybe they just thought, well, we got these extra ones here and, he's feeling this way and it worked the last time. And I don't know. You start doing that. You start introducing that sort of shit. And if the kid's already got a problem and mom and dad already said, hey, you can take some of this. Young and dumb. Hey, this isn't doing the trick anymore. I should take a few more.
It's such a horrible situation. I don't understand, if you're feeling desperate, you're feeling like you need to check out. Why are you taking other people with you? Why do you feel the need to strike out and go after somebody else? And I don't want to minimize people who feel desperate and get to that end point, but it's one thing to not want to be here anymore. It's another to take people with you. To me, it's a really different way of looking at the world that I can't understand. I can't grasp it.
That's just a very narcissistic way of looking at it. It's like, it's the same. The people who do that are the same people who are if I can't have her or him, nobody can. It's that sort of thinking where the world revolves around me, as your thought process.
It's incredibly sad.
Yeah, the kid's 15, and it just looks like a normal kid. I mean, not that looks mean much, but yeah, I mean, saw that kid, you wouldn't, I don't know, I wouldn't think but half the time these, you don't suspect it. Everybody, I think sometimes we think, they're wearing a trench coat and they're goth and they're this or they're that. And like, no, they're just, kids that are incredibly troubled. And I know it's a weird world out there. And as much as we want to believe we're giving kids and getting kids the help that they need in incredibly troubled situations. And I don't know what this kid's background is. It looked like a fairly normal house, but who knows what goes on behind closed doors. But even the situations where it is obvious, where shit is wrong, and this is not a good environment for this kid. And here's what's going to end up happening. We do nothing. And the laws prevent anybody from doing anything. It's just, let them sit there in this hellhole. And I'm not saying that that's what their home was like, but we see it all too often where then the kid acted out. Oh, surprise. You torture someone for pretty much all of their existence. They might turn into a monster. Mm-hmm. But then you get it here too, where, again, I don't know his story, but I'm going to make a guess, probably not tortured, probably a fairly normal life. And you still can get a monster.
Oh, you absolutely can, and this is proof of it. I'm curious. Like I said to you before we started recording, this story is blowing up here in Wisconsin. Everybody's talking about it. I want to know a little bit more about this. I want to know, was he showing signs at school? Did his friends kind of look at him and go, dude, that's some dark shit? Mm-hmm. Did family members, obviously they must have seen something to allow him to take these meds, but what were we seeing? Did he and mom have issues? Or was this just out of the blue?
Was this psychosis from taking the meds?
It's possible.
Taking 9 meds, I'd be very curious as to know, does he remember this? Does he have regret? Does he have any, I don't know. In that little clip we saw there, I don't know. I don't know what you would look like after you just killed your mother. But he just kind of looked like it was another day with the attorney that I'm not going to say anything else. Suzanne Gelinskey wasn't just some name in a news story. She was a beloved 4K educational assistant at Knapp Elementary School, known for her warmth and ability to brighten any kid's day. Parents, colleagues, and students are mourning a woman who made a difference, whose life was cut short in the most brutal way imaginable. Beyond the horror of it all, this case certainly raises some tough questions. What role did mental health play in this, and how much influence does media have in our young, impressionable minds? I'm not going to blame the media on this. It's out there. It is what it is. And most importantly, how do we recognize when someone we love is spiraling into something this dark before it's too late? And what do you do? There's not like a guide out there that you get when you have kids going, and by the way, if they start doing psychotic things and you think they may kill you, turn to page 42. No.
And we don't have a manual, do we?
There's no manual, and there's usually not a whole lot of directive other than try this. Try this, take them back home and try this. And meanwhile, lock your doors.
Lock up the steak knives.
And that's how a lot of people live. And that's scary.
The latest true crime stories, expert breakdowns, and shocking twists, all in one place. Press subscribe now to the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today. He was charming, handsome, a devoted husband, a doting father. When his wife died tragically in a freak accident, everyone pitied him. He played the role so well, grieving widower, devastated, single dad, just trying to put the pieces back together. But the thing about perfect men, they're usually hiding something. And this one was hiding everything. The affair, the insurance policy, the other wife in another state who had no idea she was married to a walking crime scene. If she had only subscribed to True Crime Today, Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, she could have listened to Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi ad-free. And before everyone else, she could have seen through the lies. She could have gotten out while she still had the chance. Instead, she's just another case we'll be covering next week. Don't be her. Subscribe now to True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts.